Welcome to this episode of the CySA Plus Prepcast. In this final glossary-focused episode, we complete our exploration of the key cybersecurity acronyms and terms you must know for the certification and for professional success as a cybersecurity analyst. Each term introduced today contributes to the foundation of detection, prevention, analysis, and recovery in security operations. Whether referencing protocols, standards, or technologies, this list of definitions solidifies the technical fluency needed to understand exam questions and translate knowledge into practical awareness. These are the concepts that often appear not just as direct questions, but also as embedded references in logs, tools, or case-based scenarios. OT stands for operational technology. It refers to hardware and software systems that monitor and control physical devices, processes, and infrastructure in environments such as manufacturing plants, energy grids, or transportation systems. Unlike traditional information technology, OT systems prioritize availability and real-time performance over confidentiality. The certification may include questions about securing OT systems, recognizing their vulnerabilities, or distinguishing them from IT environments. OSVDB stands for Open Source Vulnerability Database. It was a project that aimed to catalog and maintain an open, comprehensive list of security vulnerabilities in software and systems. Although no longer active, OSVDB helped shape how vulnerabilities were tracked and published in public databases. The term may still appear on the exam as part of legacy references or to differentiate open-source vulnerability tracking from vendor-maintained systems. OWASP refers to the Open Web Application Security Project. It is a nonprofit foundation focused on improving the security of software. OWASP is best known for its regularly updated top 10 list of the most critical web application security risks. Analysts should understand the common vulnerabilities OWASP outlines, such as cross-site scripting, injection flaws, and broken authentication. The certification may present scenarios requiring you to identify or mitigate these common issues. PAM stands for Privileged Access Management. It involves policies and tools designed to control and monitor the use of elevated privileges by users, applications, and systems. PAM solutions help prevent misuse of administrative access by enforcing least privilege, session tracking, and credential rotation. On the exam, PAM may be tested in scenarios that involve protecting sensitive systems, managing root or admin accounts, or detecting privilege escalation. PCI-DSS stands for Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. It is a set of security standards created to protect cardholder data and ensure secure payment processing. Organizations that handle credit card transactions must comply with PCI-DSS by implementing controls such as encryption, access restrictions, and regular security assessments. Questions on the certification may ask about compliance requirements, scope of protection, or how PCI-DSS fits into broader governance. PHP is the recursive acronym for Hypertext Preprocessor. It is a popular server-side scripting language used to develop dynamic web pages and applications. Because of its flexibility and wide usage, PHP has been the source of many web application vulnerabilities, including injection flaws and insecure configurations. The exam may refer to PHP when discussing application security, development environments, or the detection of vulnerable server components. PID stands for Process Identifier. It is a unique number assigned by the operating system to each active process. PIDs help analysts track program activity, detect anomalies, and investigate malicious behavior. Understanding how to interpret PIDs in system logs and process monitoring tools is important for host-based analysis. On the certification, questions may involve interpreting suspicious process behavior or identifying unauthorized software execution using PID data. PII stands for Personally Identifiable Information. It includes any data that can be used to identify an individual, such as names, social security numbers, addresses, or biometric records. Protecting PII is a central concern in security operations and compliance programs, especially with regulations like GDPR and CCPA. The certification often includes questions where you must identify PII in datasets, apply proper controls, or prioritize the protection of sensitive records. PKI refers to public key infrastructure. It is a framework that manages digital keys and certificates to secure communications and verify identities. PKI supports encryption, digital signatures, and secure key distribution. Analysts need to understand components such as certificate authorities, key pairs, and revocation mechanisms. On the exam, PKI may be presented in scenarios involving secure email, authentication protocols, or encrypted web traffic. PLC stands for Programmable Logic Controller. These are specialized computers used to automate industrial processes within OT environments. PLCs are commonly found in manufacturing lines, traffic systems, and energy infrastructure. Because of their legacy design and operational constraints, they often lack strong native security. The exam may ask about PLC risks, detection strategies, or the importance of segmentation in protecting industrial assets. POC refers to proof of concept. In cybersecurity, a POC is a demonstration that a particular vulnerability or attack technique can be successfully executed. This is often used during penetration testing or in research to validate theoretical risks. While not always weaponized, POCs can confirm the presence of exploitable flaws. On the certification, you may need to evaluate the purpose of a POC in risk assessments or understand how it fits within the vulnerability management process. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other podcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. RCE stands for Remote Code Execution. It describes a critical vulnerability that allows attackers to run arbitrary code on a target system without physical access. RCE flaws are among the most dangerous because they can lead to full system compromise. Detection, prevention, and patching of RCE vulnerabilities are high priorities in security programs. Expect the exam to include scenarios where you must identify RCE conditions or determine their impact on system security. RDP stands for Remote Desktop Protocol. It enables users to connect to and control a remote computer over a network. RDP is widely used in enterprise environments for administration and support tasks. However, it is also a frequent target for brute force attacks and unauthorized access. On the exam, RDP may be referenced in questions about remote access controls, port filtering, or credential protection. REST means representational state transfer. It is an architectural style used for designing networked applications, typically accessed via HTTP. REST is commonly used in application programming interfaces, allowing clients to perform actions such as retrieving or modifying data. From a security perspective, REST endpoints must be protected against injection attacks, improper authentication, and data leakage. The exam may include questions on securing REST APIs or interpreting traffic from them. RFI stands for Remote File Inclusion. This vulnerability allows attackers to include files from remote servers into a web application. Like local file inclusion, RFI can lead to code execution, data exposure, or complete compromise of the application server. The exam may test your ability to recognize signs of RFI in logs, understand its root cause, or determine how to prevent it through secure coding practices. RPO stands for Recovery Point Objective. It is a measure of how much data loss is acceptable during an incident or disaster. RPO defines the point in time to which data must be restored to resume operations. This concept is important in backup and disaster recovery planning, where businesses must align technical capabilities with continuity goals. You may encounter RPO in scenarios about backup frequency, business impact analysis, or selecting the appropriate restoration strategy. RSA refers to Rivest, Shamir, and Adelman, the creators of a widely used public key encryption algorithm. The RSA algorithm supports secure data transmission through key pairs and is a cornerstone of many secure communication protocols. On the certification, you may see RSA referenced in questions about encryption, digital signatures, or the underlying math behind key exchange. RTO stands for Recovery Time Objective. It represents the maximum acceptable time that a system, service, or process can be offline after a disruption. RTO is closely tied to business continuity and disaster recovery planning. A lower RTO means a faster recovery requirement, which may involve more investment in high-availability systems. On the exam, you may need to identify RTO requirements in relation to recovery strategies or match them to appropriate technology. RxSS stands for Reflected Cross-Site Scripting. This is a type of injection attack where malicious scripts are embedded in a link and reflected back to the user by a vulnerable web application. Unlike stored cross-site scripting, reflected attacks do not persist on the server and typically require social engineering to deliver the payload. On the certification, you may be tested on how RxSS works, how to detect it, or how to mitigate it through input validation and output encoding. With this final set of glossary terms, your foundational vocabulary for the certification is now complete. These acronyms and concepts are more than exam content. They are the operational language of cybersecurity. As you move forward in your preparation, return to these definitions as reference points when navigating tools, scenarios, and technical explanations. In upcoming episodes, we will resume our detailed walkthrough of each domain, diving deeper into the analysis and application skills required to pass the exam and succeed as a security analyst. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.